Morning everyone. Today my name is Islamic. Today our group will talk about the challenges and the prospect of Islamic capital market in Malaysia. So what exactly is Islamic capital market and how does it differ from the conventional market? So first of all, Islamic capital market, it practices the Sharia law, which is conventional market doesn't. So Sharia law, they have a few elements that the Islamic capital market need to comply. First is riba. So in all transactions in the Islamic capital market, there should be no interest incurred in it. The second is gara. So which means that everything must be clear stated in the contract and there is no option and etc. So to avoid the uncertainties, to avoid the argument in the future. This is what conventional market doesn't have. Another one is the haram element. So which means that in the transaction of Islamic capital market, it should not be related directly or indirectly to their gambling, to alcohol, to pork, and other haram elements. So what makes Islamic capital market special in Malaysia is Malaysia we have dual system. One is conventional finance capital market, another one is Islamic capital market. So why does it happen? Because Malaysia is a very wonderful country with approaching 60% of them are Muslim and the others are Buddhism, Hinduism, etc. Yeah, that's why it becomes a blend, a hybrid system in Malaysia. So later on, my friends, they will talk about the development and the growth of Islamic capital market in Malaysia, the challenges and the prospect of the Islamic capital market in Malaysia. See ya.
Good day, Prof. So my name is Shawan. I'm going to discuss about the growth and development of Islamic banks in Malaysia. So it's actually Malaysia is considered pioneer and also at the first forefront of Islamic banks amongst the world. It achieved a lot of first key milestones of Islamic banks in Malaysia itself. So how the story actually started off when 1969 when Malaysia established the Lembaga Tabung Haji to facilitate the savings among the Muslim populations. After that, in 1983, it's actually established of the Bank Islam Malaysia in Malaysia, which is the first Islamic bank in Malaysia, to provide the financial assist to the Muslim populations and extended its services not only limit to the Muslim but also other people in Malaysia that would require the needs, which of course is based on the Sharia compliance law. So in 1996, as I mentioned, that achieved a lot of key milestones. So it's for 1996, Securities Commission Malaysia actually established the Sharia Advisory Council, and the year after, in 1997, Bank Negara Malaysia established the National Sharia Advisory Council to actually regulate and also monitor and show the activities that provided by the banks and also the approved banks are Sharia compliance. In 2002, Malaysia actually became the founding members and host country of Islamic Financial Services Board. After that, in 2005, banks with Islamic banks are allowed to services are allowed to convert themselves to Islamic banks. In 2006, Malaysia actually aware that the importance of the education and research to expand and also improvise the product and services. Hence, they actually established the research and also the International Center for Education and also the research academic to improvise and also to provide a better services and products to the participants. So later on, when 2009, Malaysia also became the world's largest sukuk international by Petronas since they issue 1.5 US billions in 2007. And also beside that, it's actually Sharia, Malaysia also Sharia-based trading platform in the Bursa Malaysia, which is also the first in world. Yeah, I think.
Hello Prof, my name is Hema. I'm going to talk about the challenges that affects the growth of the Islamic market. Okay, basically there are three main challenges that influence the growth of the Islamic market. The first one would be the price fluctuation. The second would be the innovation and variety of Islamic products. And the third would be the knowledge of the investors. So when we are talking about the price fluctuation, for example, if we take a sukuk based on the ijara principle, for the rate of to get the rate of return, it should be based on the rental rate. So when the rental rate price goes up and down based on the demand and supply of the request for this particular property or the asset, the price of the rental price also may fluctuate. Due to this, the rate of return also affects, which eventually affects the entire capital market of the Islamic market. So this is one of the examples that shows that there is a price fluctuation, and due to that, and also that the low capital market for the Islamic market, since they are not using the interest rate, which is the riba, that is prohibited in the Islamic market, they are unable to grow their capital market like the conventional market. So the second would be the variety of products in the Islamic world, whereby the research and development department currently they are working on in providing more and variety innovation based of products, but for the current time being, the number of products served under the Islamic market is low compared to the conventional one. Basically, conventional one is serving more products, which gives a better choice for the investors to choose compared to the Islamic one. So the Islamic Research and Development Department should progress even in a faster way to come up with more variety of choices for the investors, because investors usually they won't be fixed with one kind of products. They need to look into several choices for them to get ideas on which one they should invest. So giving them more choices to choose would let them go to Islamic compared to the conventional one. So this is one of the cause Islamic market being the lowest for time being compared to the conventional ones. Third would be the knowledge of the investors, whereby currently it is being one of the challenges, because investors currently have more Islamic principle knowledge compared to the methodology and the approach in the Islamic products. The investors actually should have more knowledge in the methodology and approach compared to the principle. Principle is basically everyone already know about that. So when they want to invest in Islamic products, they should know how it works, how the products works, what kind of in return they would receive, and all that. So for that, they should equip themselves with the Sharia knowledge and the competencies of instead of just the principle alone, so that the offerings given to the investors will be fully, the investor will be aware of the entire offerings that is offered to the investors. So this would be the three main challenges for the Islamic market to being lower compared to the conventional one.
Hi doctor, my name is Chuan, and I'll explain on the constraint of the Islamic capital market in Malaysia. First of all, I would like to talk on the laws and regulation of the country, which is one of the major constraints of the Islamic capital market in Malaysia. As we know, Malaysia is an Islamic country, but our laws that we implement is secular, which is not subjected to religious rule. So as we know, Sharia is governed by the state enactments, which is approved by the Sultan. Hence, Sharia application may be different in different states, and it's not uniform. Clearly, we know that the Islamic banking and finance industry in Malaysia have to be governed and adopt both the conventional laws and the Sharia law. So it is important for the Islamic banking and finance industry to how the country is going to ensure that the industry complies with both the Sharia law and also the conventional law. The second constraint is that the lack of talents in the industry. As we know that the continued growth and emerge of the industry, not only in Malaysia but globally, there is a lack of skills and expertise that is required in the industry. So it is important to actually develop this kind of talents in the country in order to cope with this future issue. As we know that by 2020, Malaysia would actually require around 22,000 talents that is required in this Islamic capital market. Hence, it is important to ensure the competitiveness and the sustainability of the industry in the country. Thank you.
My name is Govind Raj, and I'll be talking about the prospect of Islamic capital finance of Malaysia. The conventional asset across Islamic finance market will be overtaken by the growth of the Islamic finance sector in the coming years. In the current international financial market, Islamic finance in Malaysia is among the fastest growing and competitive. However, locally, around 70% of the market share are occupied by some products of Islamic finance. This creates very little room for major developments locally. However, internationally, there is a vast opportunity to expand further. Asia is one of the largest growing markets in terms of Islamic finance. It's expected that by 2023, the Asian Islamic finance asset value will exceed the $1 trillion mark. In order to tap outside market, in 2017, SC Security Government of Malaysia has come up with an Islamic fund and wealth management blueprint. This blueprint identifies opportunity for the expansion of the Malaysian Islamic capital market. It's expected that Muslims will become the catalyst for the growth in capital financial wealth. This is also supported by the growth of economies in the countries with high Muslim population. The GDP of Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC) member countries is expected to outperform the world average with the growth rate of 4.1% on average compared to the 2.6% world average. The Muslim populations is also expected to represent 27.3% or 1.3 billion population in the region. Based on this, SC anticipates potential demand for Islamic assets. Some of them are such as the growth of pension funds asset in Muslim countries, growth of the global takaful, and increased allocation favoring Islamic assets by sovereign wealth funds. In order to maximize the opportunities available, the HESI has developed a vision to establish Malaysia as a leading international center for Islamic fund and wealth management. The vision was created through the extensive analysis of the relevant global developments and trends, and also includes broad valuation of the current state of Malaysia's economic finance market. There are 3 strategies to be used over 5 years period to achieve the SC's vision for Malaysia's Islamic capital market. The first strategy is to strengthen Malaysia's position as a global hub for Islamic funds. This is done by using the already existing position as a leader of Islamic finance market with comprehensive market knowledge, innovation, Sharia governance framework, legal and regulation to capture opportunities offered by the latent global demand for Sharia compliant investment products. The second strategy is to establish Malaysia as a regional center for Sharia compliant, sustainable and responsible investment. Malaysia's existing stand for being an advocate to promote sustainable responsible investment (SRI) and competitive strength is expected to assist in implementing this strategy and gain the trust and support of the investors. The last strategy is to develop Malaysia as an international provider for Islamic wealth management services. It's expected that Malaysia will have an advantage in playing the lead role in shaping the concept of driving the development of the Islamic wealth management services with its track record in innovation and comprehensive Islamic finance ecosystem. Green future is another important prospect in the upcoming capital market. The green future is in line with the Islamic finance, where both champions for sustainable finance. Malaysia played the role of an early adopter in the green finance by raising funds for the construction of 83-story office through the 15-year tenure secured green program that has raised 690 million. It's expected that many other Middle East and Southeast Asia will participate in the green finance over time, after the greater convergence of SRI and Islamic finance. This puts Malaysia in a win-win scenario which strengthens their position as a global leader in closing the gap between the infrastructure development and green finance. Thank you.
Good morning, Doctor. My name is Warna and I'll be concluding the presentation presented by my friends earlier. So as we all know, Islamic financial system or Islamic finance has been one of the highest and fastest growing subject globally. Despite all the challenges and constraints faced by the institution itself, there are many initiatives being done globally to standardize or to make sure Islamic finance Islamic finance a more easier subject to be understood globally. So one of the initiatives being done by Bank Negara themselves, as stated by the Assistant Governor, Mr. Marzuni Sham Omar, there is an initiative called Value-Based Intermediation Initiative, which is also known as VBI, to help Islamic Bank to improve their approach and towards customer and also the way they manage customers. This is also in par with the Security Commission's vision to make Malaysia the established and center for Islamic funds being done and also for wealth management. So with this initiative, we believe that Islamic finance can grow even further and can be a more standardized and to be the base for each financial transaction being done in the world, and also this can improve the quality of wealth management globally. So that's all from us. Thank you very much.